It has been just about 24 hours since that plane first took off, and right now we wanted to bring in Jordan Fisher to help us break down the timeline here step by step in terms of how this all developed. Jordan.
Yes, Simone, we know from these major investigations, it's like a puzzle. Investigators are collecting pieces. So let's start with the first piece. 5:18 p.m., that's Central Time. American Airlines Flight 5342 takes off from Wichita, Kansas. This is a regular route. They fly it almost every single day. It heads into DCA. At 8:15 p.m., that's Eastern Time here, Flight 5342 begins descending. This is over Virginia. It's at 37,000 feet. It's cruising. You see it begin dropping on FlightAware flight radar. It goes over Prince George's County, takes a loop. If you've flown into DCA, this is going to be very familiar to you. It's coming up from the south into the landing strip on the Potomac River. Now at 8:48, this is the critical moment, 8:48. This is when the collision happens. It collides midair with a Sikorsky UH-60 helicopter. That's a Black Hawk. And this is just 2 minutes to give you a sense of how quickly this transpired, 2 minutes after it passes over National Harbor. Now, I want to pause here for just a second. We could drill into this and go almost second by second. 8:48, you hear over the tower, radio, tower, did you see that? And even as they're trying to figure out what happened, even as they're processing what happened, you can hear the air traffic controllers redirecting planes that are coming in behind this flight because, of course, this is an incredibly busy airport. They're telling people to go back up to 3,000 feet. You can hear the aircraft traffic controllers tell one pilot, take a hard right. Let's keep moving. Things begin progressing, of course. Within 10 minutes of that crash at 8:58, rescue boats are already on scene. Other rescue crews are responding as quick as they can. Within an hour, we have confirmation from the FAA. That's at 10:09 p.m. last night. FAA confirms the flight number. It confirms that it has collided with a military helicopter. Within 45 minutes, Homeland Security is on it. Newly confirmed Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem says the agency is deploying every available resource the U.S. Coast Guard has. She was out there earlier today herself. Within 10 minutes of that, there's confirmation from the American Airlines CEO. That's Robert Isom. Moving into the very early hours of this morning, investigators from the NTSB arrive on scene 12:41 a.m. in the dead of night. As the rescue operations still at that time were hopeful, rescue operations were ongoing. Investigators from the FAA and the NTSB are arriving on scene, and they continue that work despite the frigid cold temperatures, as we heard Chief Meteorologist Topper Shutt say last night. That the waters at the beginning of the evening at 8:48 when this began, 42 degrees, only got colder. Nevertheless, with 7 more hours of rescue efforts until 7:45 a.m. this morning, DC Fire and EMS Chief John Donnelly tells us that they believe that there are no survivors to be found, and the search is officially being considered a rescue mission or a recovery mission.
So Jordan, we're looking at more than about almost 9 hours plus of kind of events that transpired from when the plane first left Wichita, Kansas to the collision and then the events thereafter. What else are we missing from this timeline so far?
Right. Well, I said, of course, this is a puzzle and they're collecting pieces. We heard from NTSB Chairwoman Jennifer Hamady earlier, and what she said also in that briefing is that they're going to look at the man, the machine, and the environment. If you saw that timeline we just showed you, an obvious piece is missing, one of the machines, the Black Hawk helicopter. We know very little about the flight path. We heard Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth say earlier today that it was on a routine training mission. Now, the NTSB says that, like the American Airlines plane, that Black Hawk helicopter has a recording device similar to what we know as a black box on those planes. They are looking for both of them right now. They have not recovered them yet, but I can tell you an extraordinary amount of information for those viewers who recall our coverage of the bridge collapse last year in Baltimore. Recovering the equivalent device off of that the cargo freighter told us so much about how that collision occurred, and that's what we're looking for here. That's what the NTSB is looking for, and that's really the sort of key piece in this puzzle that will help unravel this mystery.
Also, to your point, Jordan, when you think about the human factor, CBS is reporting only one air traffic control worker was managing helicopters and planes, which was likely a multiple person operation or job, or it should have been. Appreciate your insight and you shedding some light here for us. Thank you.